Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City, where we want to help you build a Lego city regardless of the space you have. Welcome to episode 4 of the Brick Design Breakdown, a live stream where we discuss Lego building techniques and mock ideas. Welcome everyone who's here. This is a live stream and we're live right now, so if you're around, please let yourself be known in the live chat. We'd love to hear from you. Annie is here as well. Now, if you do not see your live chats working, just go ahead and refresh the page. All right. Good to see all of you. We've got a great live stream today. Let's just switch over to the work table so that you can see what we have installed. Because in today's The Brick Design Breakdown, we will be talking about how to go about creating and designing small Lego mini builds or small builds, not necessarily mini builds. These are small builds which are minifig in scale. And I'll be sharing with you an original design for a funfair dunk tank. So more on this in just a bit. We'll wait for a few people to come in. Thank you so much. If you are here today, please let yourself be known. Let me know which city or country you're from and let me know what time it is. And even if I know you, do let everyone know as well, because this is a community. We want everyone to know where everyone is in the world and just how vast this Lego community or Lego community is. And if you like to support the channel, there are different ways you can do so, and I'm sure you already know that. But for those who are new to the channel, all you need to do, very simple, is to give this video a like. If you are watching this live or you are watching the replay, just hit that like button. Now, if super chats are available in your country, you can go ahead and donate any amount you like. Just hit that $ you see in the live chat. You can also head over to smallbrickcity.com/shop because we've got building instructions, books, very cool merchandise, and all proceeds, of course, go to help supporting the channel and the website. And finally, of course, the easiest thing you can do as well is to subscribe to the channel if you have not, because we've always got new, unique, and I think fairly valuable content for the Lego community. So by subscribing, of course, you get notified for the latest videos, and do hit that notification bell as well. And if you just like to check out a bunch of free stuff, you can also head over to smallbrickcity.com, so that's separate from the YouTube channel, and go ahead and enter your name and email, and you can download free Lego stuff like our original building plans for a mini house. You get book reviews, exclusive video tutorials, and poster art as well. So lots of good stuff if you subscribe. Now let's pull up the chat and see who we have. Always like to chat with our friends, find out where they are in the world. And welcome Lego Dad, welcome Ken Wheels. I know you were probably the first one here. Gavin Bricks, Luis, Gaming Stupid 905, Gavin 702, Jason Chapman, the creator, Brick Bunny 88. Thank you very much. Great to see all of you here. As mentioned, we are going to talk about small Lego builds and what's my process of creating these small builds, and also go through step by step on how to create a Lego minifig dunk tank. And of course, one of the segments in the Brick Design Breakdown is to brainstorm on a specific Lego element or Lego part. Today, we'll be talking about this element here, and this is the modified plate. That's 2 studs wide with the close bar element. So there is an open bar element. This is the close bar element version of this modified plate. And we'll brainstorm how we can use this in different ways. And we'd like you to participate and share your ideas as well, because this live stream is really about learning from each other and getting good ideas to improve our own Lego building techniques. Zach Holmes, thank you for joining us as well. Great crowd today, and I'm really happy that this particular stream is gaining an audience, because most of you would know that I do a weekend stream called Coffee and Bricks, and that is something quite different in terms of the presentation and delivery. For this particular live stream, which I do during the midweek, either my Wednesday or Thursday, that means either your Tuesday or Wednesday, depending where you're in the world. Basically, I wanted to do something different and discuss different build techniques. So that's why I'm doing this particular live stream. And if you do like this format and like the concept and the content, please let me know in the comments or the live chat as well. Ken Pugh says in 10247 there is a dunk tank. Let me just check that out. 10247. Let me pull it up on my phone. Have you got a chance to see an image of my dunk tank, Ken Hughes, or maybe Gavin, because you said you like that one? Does it look anything like the one I built? I've never seen the one in 10247, and that's because I don't have any of these big crater sets, except for the roller coaster, but that hasn't been built yet. And is it a working dunk tank? Like, can you put a minifig and smack him down if you want it? And is it a standalone dunk tank? Let me know. I'm trying to look for an image of the dunk tank. I'm just going to do one quick one. I know this must make for great live streaming as I look for this. But I can't find at least a separate image. Let's see. There is... Nope. Oh yes, I do see it now. I see no, that's 10244. Well, I think it, at least the one in 10244, it definitely looks like a dunk tank, but a bit different from mine. But let's get into it. As I build the dunk tank, or after I build it, Ken Hughes, Gavin, let me know if it looks the same. So let's clear the screen so that you can see it. Lego Dad says, you mean Annie hasn't built the roller coaster? Yes, she hasn't. And Annie is on the live chat as well, so if you'd like to say hi, please do so. And you know what, she's been putting a lot of content on her channel, and that's Annie Small Brick City. So you see in the chat, you can just hit that right click and look for the 3 dots and go to her channel. She's got therapeutic Lego speed builds, very unique content, and she's put up quite a bit of content in recent days. And she's going to be putting up something later on. I'll talk about that in just a bit. But let's talk about how do you go about creating a small build. Now, I've done quite a bit of small builds in my time. And you can find my small builds in 2 ways. You can find the free video tutorials on this channel. So just go over to the playlist and look for small build tutorials. I've also got a lot of updated building instructions and new building mocks for these small builds at smallbrickcity.com/shop. So overall, I think I've designed and built almost 50 different small builds. So I personally enjoy building the small builds. Now, what I mean by a small build, it must be MiniFig-scale and it must be realistic. These are my 2, I guess, criteria when it comes to building small builds. So I go for realism and it must be MiniFig-scale. That's really important. So what you see in front of you are a bunch of small builds, and these come from the Funfair People Pack. These 3 small builds over here. We've got this little duck game. We've got this stud shooter where you hit the target and the targets can fall down. And we have this test of strength type of deal. This over here is a small kiddie ride, and this is actually the new rocket ride. And currently it's on free promotion. I guess if you spend about 100 US or more, depending which country you're from, you can get this as a free gift. And this is really cool because you can move it. Incidentally, Annie is doing a tandem mirror speed build of this. So she's building 2 sets of this. That video will be in her channel 15 minutes after this live stream. And I've also got a review of this particular set. And I teach you my modification of the gear handle, which I think is actually better now. And that will be available 15 minutes after this live stream as well. But these are small builds, and I really like these. So I didn't design these. These are official Lego sets. But recently, I had the idea of building a theme park for my Lego city. But it's got a specific concept, and I'll share that in future. But I wanted to build different small builds for the theme park. So these fit very well, these Funfair games and the rides. And of course, I have the larger rides as well. But in terms of small builds, I was talking to Greg from GJ Bricks, and we were talking about fun fairs and amusement parks, and he talked about a dunk tank. And that got me thinking, it would be pretty cool if I can design a MiniFig-scale dunk tank. So my process is always to start off with the concept. So what are you going to build? You need to have something concrete in mind, very specific. So you do not just want to say, oh, I like to build a market stall. You want to consider what type of market stall you want to build. Is it going to be a drink stall, a food stall? It's going to be a pastry stall or toy stall? A market stall is just too generic. So you want to be really specific in the item you want to build. So I thought about a dunk tank. That was my concept. The next step is to do research. And of course, now it's so simple to do research. All you have to go on Google and type in your keyword. In this case, I put in dunk tank, and this is what I got. I went to the images tab to just see how dunk tanks look like. Now, of course, I have seen dunk tanks live in person at fun fairs. I've also seen them on TV and movies. But, I wanted to see what is out there because I'm not an expert in dunk tanks. And looking at all the images, this is just one page, but I got the sense that it seems there's only one company in the world who produces most of the world's dunk tanks. And they all look more or less the same. So I took that as initial reference. Now, if you notice the target where you throw the ball at, there's this big PVC or vinyl sheet behind. Now, that's really just for practicality so that when you throw the ball or the beanbag, it doesn't fly past the dunk tank if you miss the target. So at least it helps collect the beanbags. It acts as a target backdrop. But I didn't want that because it doesn't look too aesthetically pleasing. So I just thought of having a target. And you see that sort as well. But basically, the dunk tank comes with three main components. You have the tank or the water tank itself, which is the blue thing you see below. And then you have the cage or the clear protective top half where the person sits. And then the third is, of course, the target attached to the chair. So that when the beanbag hits the target, the person drops down into the tank. So three main components. So once I figure that out and I figure out the main components of the build I'm trying to do based on the images I research, the next step is to try to figure out how you can recreate this in Lego. And I think the first step when you actually go about designing anything, you need to have certain domain knowledge. And that means you need to have some base knowledge of Lego parts. Because if you do not have an idea of what parts are available, it's hard for you to think how you can construct them. So that's the first step you need to do. Have a good grounding and knowledge on Lego parts. And you can do this in certain ways. If you build official sets, you build your vocabulary of the Lego parts. If you don't have many sets, you can go online. You can check out the instructions because Lego puts out instructions for all the sets. But I admit that can be very dry and boring. So you can head over to YouTube and look for speed builds or detailed reviews of sets. And you can get to see different elements and parts close up as well. And sometimes reviewers will highlight if unique techniques are used. So that's a great learning process and a great way to be exposed to Lego parts. And finally, one thing you can do, which is the way I learnt, is to head over to Bricklink. So that's bricklink.com. And that's basically a marketplace for Lego vendors where you can buy and sell Lego parts. Just think of it as the Amazon of Lego parts. So there are many different sellers. Bricklink itself does not sell you parts, but they connect you with different sellers all over the world, and you'd find a seller that has the parts that you want and offers good shipping to your country. But you can also look at the Bricklink catalog. So they have the entire Lego part catalog, or at least I would say 99% of all the parts available in the different colors and organized in different categories. So that's how I learned. I basically spent hours going through the catalog, going through every category and all the parts just to be familiar with the parts. Now, I won't say I know all the parts. In fact, I think my knowledge on Technic parts in particular is very weak because I don't build Technic. But by and large, for the rest, I would say I have a decent amount of knowledge, and that helps me know what I can use in order to build different things. So that's highly recommended. Get to know your parts. So once you know your parts, you can figure out the structure of your build, and you want to focus on just the physical structure. Don't worry about the aesthetics. Don't worry about how pretty it's going to look. You just want to have a working model, the skeletal frame, so to speak. So that's what we're going to do here. Let me move this out of the way and let's start building my dunk tank. And I talked about 3 different parts to the dunk tank. I'm going to start off with the base. So that's the water tank segment. And we'll start off with this. This is literally the base. So my dunk tank sits on a 6x6 footprint. Now, if you have a 6x6 plate, you can just use that. I didn't. I have a 4x6 plate and 2x6 plate as my base plate. And then I used a 1x6 plate on either side and a 1x4 plate here to hold everything together and to create that first layer. So this is the base of my dunk tank. Now, you can put a white 1x4 plate here, but I wanted to add color. Now, when I first built this, I built this all white. As I said, I didn't worry about the aesthetics, and I only developed the aesthetics as I finished it, and then I improved the model. But since I've already kind of designed it, I will share with you the aesthetics as I go along so that you can build this if you want. So I'm going to go with a color scheme for the dunk tank so that it's going to be white, yellow, and blue. So that's my color palette for this particular dunk tank. And I'm going to add in that right there. Now I'm going to add in a bit of white, and I'll do that by using these 1x6 plates over here and over here. And this gives me opportunity to take in yellow 1x4 plates on either side here. So that's how I'm adding the color palette. Now I want to create the illusion of water. You can do this in different ways. You can use trans blue tiles to fill this area up. I didn't have enough, so I'm just going to use these blue tiles. So you can use solid blue tiles of different colors or the trans blue tiles, and the idea is just to give the illusion of water. Next, for the front, I use this trans blue panel that sits in front like that, and this is what's going to give it the water effect. For the sides, you could technically use more trans blue panels if you like to make it look like a clear tank, so you can definitely do that. But I decided to use white, so I'm going to use these panels over here. Now notice with these panels, the reason why I do it this way is twofold. One, it gives a bit of dimension. That's why I like to use the panels instead of just bricks, because bricks will be thick and it will build up and it looks a bit clunky because it's already 6 studs wide, which is quite big but necessary to hold a minifig. So I use these panels to really cut down that width, and it gives it a bit of visual texture on the side. And you can't really do it the other side because you can see that there will be a gap between the panels, and technically then water will come out, so that doesn't make sense. So I'm using these panels over here, and I will fill up the back area with smaller panels over here like that. So there you have, almost done for the base. Now for the back, you have 2 options. You can take another panel piece like this, the trans blue panel piece, and place it so you've fully enclosed this dunk tank. And maybe it might be waterproof enough for you to actually put water if you want. But I'm choosing to leave this open just for the play feature. It's easier to extract the minifig out later from the back after he's dunked in. So that's my choice, but it's up to you to do whatever you want. And I'm just going to cover these exposed studs over here so that it looks finished. And then I'm going to cover the top to create kind of a frame just to hold all the parts in place. So that's a 1x6 plate on the front and back, and then the sides are held together with this 1x4 plate on each side. And there you have the base of the dunk tank. Now let's go to the next step. This is still part, I guess, of the well, this is the second part now we're going to, and this is the top part where the person is going to be shielded. So I'll call it the body, okay, or the top part, the top half of the dunk tank. All the dunk tanks have some kind of a protective front. Some dunk tanks I've seen use cages, but we don't really have a nice cage mesh, and it will look too much like a cage. So I thought a clear panel will work best, just like that. So you can clearly see inside, yet a ball won't hit the minifig inside. And then I'm going to use two 1x1 column pieces over here, like that. Now, my mechanism is going to be on this side, so on the left of the dunk machine, or your right as you see it. So I do need some kind of gap here. This is how I came up with these proportions. But on the other side, it's going to be closed, but we need access. So all dunk tags will have a ladder, and that's why I have a ladder here to be able to attach to the side so minifigs can climb up. So the way I created this portion was to use two plates, 1x4 plates, and then this 1x2 open-ended bar modified plate, followed by just a regular 1x2 plate, and capping everything with a towel. Now the reason I had to do it this way is just so that it's tall enough for the ladder, so that when I place everything here, the height is just about right and minifigs can climb up. So that's the reason. Now let's come over to this side over here. For the back, I'm going to add one plate and one 1x4 towel over here. Oh, I shouldn't actually, this is a bit wrong, I'm sorry. I need to first put in the mechanism. And this is the mechanism, this is the seat, not even the arm, but the seat. So you need to have a look at this. This is a 1x2 Technic brick. So there's a pin, and this is the swivel pin, and you need this kind of a Technic plate. And that goes in here. So this is a 1x2. Notice two holes. That's important. And I have one more on the other side, but notice this is only a 1x1 brick. So there's a 1x2 brick and 1x1 brick. And what you do is you place that 1x2 brick with the Technic pin over here, and you place this one over here. So they kind of line up, as you can see. Now I need to hold this together because this is going to form the seat. So I'm going to use two parts to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to use this 1x4 panel piece. So that's a right angle panel piece. Put that behind. That's the little back of the seat. And I'll use a 1x4 towel. And I use blue just to keep with the color scheme and make it feel, water themed. So that's the little chair, and you can see how that works with gravity, and when there's a minifig on it with weight, that will fall forward. Now I can build up the rest before I add in the stuff. So I need to put a 1x1 gray brick here, so that it's symmetrical on both sides visually. And here I need to fill this up with 1x2 bricks, but I'm going to use two 1x1 bricks on either side just to fit with the color scheme. And back to that yellow and blue. So I'm going to add in a bit of color by putting in a yellow brick and a blue brick on each side, just like this. And now I can correctly place this setup over here, and that is more correct now. And on this side, all I'm doing is placing a 1x4 towel. And there we have it. We're almost there. Let me finish off the top of the dunk tank. Now, originally when I built it, all I did was just to plate the top, because remember, I was just working structurally. After I built it and I knew it could work, then I thought about how to pretty it up. And that's why I came up with the colors, and that's how I came up with this top design. The first thing I want to do, as with any modular style building or any Lego build, anytime you have loose bricks like that, you do want to hold them together with bricks or plates. Plates are preferred, so I'm going to use these corner plates and just hold it like that. So that's really secure. And to fill up the empty slot, I'll use a 1x2 plate. Now to pretty it up, I'm going to use these curved sloped bricks. Now the reason I like to use these curved sloped bricks, especially when I'm building something like this, which is very boxy and angular, and this is something I generally try to do, especially with small builds, is to break up these straight edges with curves. Once you add in curves like this, it really helps to make it much more aesthetically pleasing, so it just doesn't look so square. So what I'm going to do is place a white on either side like that, and then I'm going to alternate the yellow and blue. This gives it a very nice carnival funfair feel and goes with the color palette which I have designed from the start. Now notice the top here, you just have to build this up so that everything looks pretty. So for the top, instead of just going flat, I'm going with curves once again to add to that overall visual texture of the build. And for the top, I created this little top piece just using 2 curved bricks. And to fill up the space there, there's a 1x2 plate that goes together to form like a headmast, and that goes over here like that. So now that looks nice and curved and just caps it very nicely. Of course, with 2 exposed studs here, we want to cap that. So I'm just using a 1x1 stud with a 1x1 towel over here. And that's basically how my dunk tank looks like. Now we come to the final part, and that's the mechanism for the target and to make this knock over. This took me probably about 45 minutes to figure out just the design of the mechanism so that it would work and was aesthetically accurate and pleasing. And here are the parts I'm going to use. These are mainly, in fact, all Technic parts, except for this decorated towel. So that's a decorated towel with a bullseye. You can get this from several different sets, I believe. I think this could have been from a Friends set where they did have some kind of a carnival or funfair games, but that works really well. So here we go. These are the parts you need. You need this cross pin connector, I guess you call it, 90 degrees, so that you can put another smaller pin inside. Something like that. This is just a collar with a pin. This is different, so this is the male version, this is a female version. So you've got another cross pin, and inside there is another slot connector, which I'm not going to pull out, it's really in there. So that's a T-joint, I guess. And then here we have a 3-way joint, so that's also, it goes, it's not a T, but it's almost like a cross joint, so you could technically create a cross with this connector. And finally, you need another one of these plates that accepts the Technic pin. Okay, let's see if we can put this together. So I first need to create the arm, and to do that, I'm putting the collar or the short connector in between here, and I'm putting this up like that. Now I can take this, put it through this pin, and the final piece goes in here. So basically you're getting an arm just like that. Now remember, I had a Technic brick here, 1x2 with 2 holes, and there's a reason, and that's so that I can place this other pin inside so that this mechanism arm can go on. And of course the bullseye goes onto this Technic plate, and that's basically it. Now this allows you to rotate or turn in different directions, because depending on the minifig you use and the weight you want it to hold in place. So that's essentially it. Can you see now? The arm is actually holding that chair in place. So when you put a minifig on, generally there'll be weight in front. So if you release this, it will drop forward. Now you have to make adjustments so that there's not too much friction and it will move smoothly. But I did do this as a double action mechanism. In the event this gets dislodged and the chair doesn't move forward, if you hit it hard enough, it will swing around and hit the chair that way. So you generally will always dunk a person or a minifig. Let's see if I can set this up here high enough so you can see. Yeah, maybe something like that. And we've got a minifig here. Now this works, I'll say 9 out of 10 times. Now, if you're using a minifig with this design, you want to make sure he isn't wearing a cap. Let's see, make sure you guys can see it just due to the camera angle. Make sure he's not wearing a cap or has big hair, because he will tend to get caught as he falls down. So if I were to just do that, you can see even just hitting that, he fell down. It didn't even have to swing around. Let's try that once again. And that's what I meant by keeping this open. I can just pull this minifig out. To reset, you do that. Yeah, that's a bit more free spinning. Let's put him here and make sure he doesn't fall down. All right, I even tested it with a stud shooter. That's a stud shooter. So you press that, a stud flies out. Let's see if I can do it here and see if it works. So I'm going to try to aim. Not enough strength this time. Let's try one more time. This guy is well balanced on, so I'm going to reload the stud shooter. Let's try to reset this. This must be suspenseful live streaming. Come on. There's a bit of balancing that needs to be done, but okay. Yeah, let's try that once again. Give it another shot. Stud shooter 2. Yeah! And you can see the guy got dunked. And for easy access, he can come out just like that, and you can reset. So there you have it. That is my design for a dunk machine, or dunk tank. Let me know what you think about this. And to Gavin and Ken Hughes, is this similar to the one that comes with the Ferris wheel? I'm just going to set this down. I'm going to pull up the chat and see what you guys are saying. All right. Let's go back to see. Let me just pull back and see who we have. Gavin's no longer with us. He left. No worries. Adora Build, Kowie's Creation, Gate Bricks, Drum Bones. Welcome all of you. Captain Duckman, Excalibur Builders, Iron Man. Okay, let's see what anyone has said about the build. Gate Brick says, is he going to put 1x1 studs clear in it? You can, but if you put 1x1 studs inside, or you put water, what will happen is the minifig won't be able to drop in. Let's see. What else? Too cool to school. What do you miss? Yep, you missed me building this. Yes, I did get him. Okay, Ken Hughes, it's 10244, not 10247. Okay, thank you. 10247. Now, 10247 is the fairground set, right? Let me just try to get that back and see it. So the dunk tank is a bit different. So Alan's asking, can you make a tutorial for this? I just did. This entire live stream was a tutorial for this build. So just watch the replay later. So let's have a look at the dunk tank. I did see a picture of it just now. 10244. Okay, so I do see the dunk tank. Yeah, it is a bit different. They have a big white board. Oh, they use the fencing. It's not a board. They use the fencing. Yeah, that works, I guess. But I like the clear panel. So it does look a bit different. I have no idea how the mechanism looks like. So let me know what you think. I'm glad that you have two versions now. If you do not have this set, you can build my version here. And it doesn't take too many bricks. Cover the back and put water down there. Yeah, totally can. As I mentioned earlier in the live stream, you might not have been here. You can totally put another trans blue panel over here. Cover it up. Fill it with water. I think push everything tight. But I guarantee you the minifig is probably going to hit the water and just float. He's not going to get dunked. But obviously, yeah, you can do that if you want. So any more comments about this dunk tank? Or if you have any comments or questions at all, this is the time you ask. I'll answer a few questions on the live chat. And then we'll head over to the next segment of the brick design breakdown, where we'll be discussing the 1x2 modified plate with a closed bar and how we can use it in different ways. Thanks everyone for joining in and for being here for the live stream. If you are live, let me know where you are from and what time it is in your world. And of course, guys, if you can, please support the channel. Different ways you can do so. Very simply, you can just like the video, whether you're watching this live or watching the replay. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support us, you can of course head over to smallbrickcity.com/shop and buy any of the great products we have over there. Excalibur Builder said, am I going to put a parts list? No, probably not. I might do separate instructions for this. In fact, I think we are going to do separate instructions just for convenience if you like, and that'll be available from our website. If not, then you can just watch the replay of the video. Pacific CY, thanks for joining us. I think this is the first time I've seen you in a live stream. Drumbones, San Diego, 7:35 p.m. Thank you very much. Too Cool for School, North Carolina, 10:35. Yeet Station 4. What's that? What's Yeet Station 4? Escalator Builders, Philadelphia. All right. You guys are awesome. As I said, thank you so much for supporting this live stream. But let's get on with it. We are going to talk about now a specific Lego element or part, and that's something I do for every live stream. And if you've got any specific questions later, ask me after this segment and I will close the stream by answering your questions. So the part we are going to discuss is this. So it's this 1x2 element. Modified plate with a closed bar element. That's the official name, I guess, if you want to call it. There is a sister part, which is an open bar element. That's where you see the ends of the bars sticking out or open. But we're going to talk about the closed bar element. And of course, you can get them in a variety of colors. So the question is, what can you use this part for? I think the most obvious is to use it as some kind of a handle. Something for minifig to hold. At least that's what came to me the first time I guess I saw this part. So if you were to build any kind of small build, for example, this is my popcorn cart. That's the modified plate with the closed bar element in gold, and that's used as a handle for the cart. So that gives it a nice finish. And if I didn't have that part, I think it does affect the design. This small little plate here or element really adds to the overall design of this popcorn cart. And of course, the color matches, which works well as well. So you can make that as a handle. You can also do what Lego does actually. For some of their Lego store builds, they turn this into a shopping bag. So they'll give you a printed Lego towel like that. You would put it on, and you can put a minifig to carry it, and it becomes a small little shopping bag or carrier. And of course, you don't have to use a Lego towel. You can use any, even a solid color towel, I guess. And if you have a mailman, you could use an envelope and use maybe not such a colorful plate. So that's another way you can use it. Let's see. I've also seen it used as a decorative element. Let me give you an example. So let's say you're building a wall and you're building a section of the wall which has columns like that. So let's assume it's going to be something like that. So to make things interesting, you could put in a plate on two modified bricks with studs in front, just like that. And now you've got texture. Instead of a straight column or wall, you now added a bit of a design element. And if you can imagine many of these or alternating every two studs, that gives a bit of texture in an otherwise boring wall. And because they're exposed studs, you can also take the opportunity to cover these studs, for example, with these curved tile pieces like this, and that gives us a very nice finished look. You of course could do it the other way if you were to build it upside down, and you get this look. And you could even add something to it. So for example, okay, let's turn it around. Let's do a legit build here. Let's say I to do it this way. So I'm going to turn this around. Let's put this back. and we put this up here like that. This also gives us opportunity to turn this into a functional element besides just a decorative element. So let's say you have a clip, and I'm going to use this 1x2 clip with a single clip. So 1x2 modified plate with a single clip. And I'll use a transparent 1x2 tile, or you can also use a trans yellow tile. And this is something I like to build as well. This is like a spotlight. So you could imagine, again, this is on the facade of your building wall. You've got a decorative element using that modified plate with the closed bars, and you've now added a light element which you can of course turn as you need. Now instead of a light, you can do something like that, or you can do a light but you can maybe extend it out. So what I've created here is a clip element with a bar. So this receives a bar, and that's a bar, and then you've got another modified this is a towel with a clip and a stud here to be a light. So the idea is to put this on like that, and now you have lights that extend out for your building, giving it even a more interesting look. Now if you do not like a light, you think this looks a bit odd, simply take out this light and take a flag like this, and you can put a flag on, and you get the same idea. Again, these are just ideas, and you can obviously use this and apply it to use different parts that you think fits well. And I'm just brainstorming ideas, and later when I pull up the chat, let me know if you have any ideas to add on to this or to improve upon these ideas. Okay, so that's another 2 examples. Let's move over to another functional use. So you saw me use it as a clip, as a holder, but really I think one of the greatest strengths of this from a functional point of view is to use it as a hinging element. So anytime you want to create angles, that's why you have this particular clip plate here. For example, this allows you to create almost any angle you need, which is very useful when you want to create angles in your builds. But instead of using this plate with a single clip, because it's really just one connection, you may want to use 2 plates of this nature. And this is a 1x2 plate with a clip at the long end like that. And you can clip this like that. And now you've got something a bit more solid, because you've got 2 connection points, you've got 2 plates, so that's just more solid. And depending on how you want to use it, maybe you're building a ramp, a wheelchair ramp to push something up. Maybe you want to build a roof, like a pitch roof that's slanted. So many different ideas or things you can build just using this technique of creating a hinge. Let me give you a very simple build using this hinge technique. And let's get some parts over here. So let's put this here like that. And let's see if you can guess what I'm building. Probably becoming quite apparent. And now you get a nice chair which can hinge back. So if you want a minifig to sit on the chair so that he doesn't slide off, because that is a towel, just replace the towel with a round plate like that. And now you have a chair where you can put a minifig on. And if you build this higher, or you put a round brick, it can be like a little bar stool as well, especially if it's black. So that's just an idea, again, how to use this particular element to create a hinge and build a small chair from it. So what do you think? What are your thoughts of using this element? Do you have any other ideas? Let's bring up the chat and see what you guys have to say. That's right. Lego Dad says, I thought the ladder would be the first to use. So you talk about the ladder. The reason why I didn't mention the ladder Lego Dad is the ladder has 2 clips at the end. And these 2 clips do not attach to a closed bar. You need an open bar in order for the ladder to attach. And that's why I didn't go with the ladder. Excalibur Builder says the Sanctum Sanctorum uses that as its roof, I believe. Annie, is that true? Let us know whether the Sanctum Sanctorum use that for the roof. Yep, you guys guessed the chair. Ken Wheel says you could do a clip with a round hole and have it as a flagpole. Yep, we got that. A street lamp. Yep, you could use a street light as well. Shopping bags. Yep, you guys got it. You guys, I mean, I wasn't watching the chat, but you guys basically have a lot of the same ideas, which is great. CD Bricks, how you doing? Omar Bricks, thank you for being here. Too Cool for School says, how much time did it take you to make that? What are you referring to? Why use round tiles, Iron Man, for building the chair? Why not? Excalibur Build says, you could use multiple for a ladder? Oh, that's right. That is a good point. This could be a ladder, and this is also being used when you build, if you want to build stairs or steps into a wall. So just imagine you're going to build this within bricks. Let me see if I've got access to plates. Luckily I'm at my build table, so I do have some parts available. So let's talk about building to the wall, and then I'll get to what Excalibur Builders was talking about, the ladder. So you could technically, now just imagine these are actual bricks, and as though you're building a wall in a building. And I just want to give you an idea. You probably need 2 bricks high. Yes. Yep. Something like this. So again, I'm just using random parts, so don't mind me. Again, this is just for illustration purposes. Okay, and I think that's enough to illustrate. You could build this in a wall. In fact, this looks like a ladder as well. So if you're just to use 1x2 plates, as Excalibur Builders was suggesting, this is a ladder basically. If you're to build this into the wall, this can also be a ladder up. If you do not have a ladder element, you could, I think, also stagger them like that. See? And if you stagger them, I think you could create a very weird looking ladder, but maybe not. Maybe you have to stagger them this way so that they go out. So you need a longer plate, let's say a 2x3 plate. This might take up space, but yeah, so you do that. I think, yeah, something like that. Right, just as an idea. Yeah, you might be able to, well, not sure. No, this probably won't make sense. You're just taking up too much space. So scrap that idea. But basically, yes, you can build it as steps into a wall, or you can build a ladder as Excalibur Builders mentioned. Let's see, what do we have here? Adora Build, trying to figure out how to type Lego. Oh, Lego is L-E-G-O, but all in caps. Too Cool for School, how long did it take for you to make the water drop thing? So that's a dunk tank. It took me, I would say, 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes to design the structure and the mechanism, and then it took me another 15-20 minutes after that to make the aesthetics. When I make the aesthetics, I meant adding in the color and figuring out the roof. So I actually built the structure first, played around with it, make sure it worked, and then I took a break probably for an hour, and then I came back to it. So that's another thing I do. I do not build straight all the way. I would build, and then I'll deliberately take a break to give myself a fresh perspective and then I'll come back to it, and often I'll have another idea or different idea. So I probably took about 1.5 hours altogether. Lego Dad, yes, I'm CD Bricks Dad. Oh, I did not know that. Okay, hi CD Bricks Dad. You guys, do you have anything else to ask? If not, we can close the stream really soon. As I've always said, I like to keep it about 45 minutes. Makes it a good time for everyone to watch. I appreciate everyone's participation. I hope you enjoyed today's live stream on the dunk tank and on talking about the bar element. Oh, one thing. This is the new rocket. If you guys missed it early on, I was talking about this. This is a nice little build. It's currently part of a promotion. You spend 100 US or more depending where you are in the world, and you get this free. And if you head over to Annie's channel, you're going to see an ambidextrous tandem mirror build. Now, what's that? It's as impressive as it sounds. Basically, she's building 2 of these, one in each hand at the same time, but mirror versions of each other. This video will be up 15 minutes after this live stream. And I've also done a review, and I've taught how to modify this gear handle so that I think it works and looks much better. And that video will be up on my channel. That's this channel they're watching here, in 15 minutes after the live stream as well. So do subscribe to both channels if you do not want to miss it. Lego Dad says, is this for the hangout? Are you talking about the SigFig hangout? If not, the dunk tank is for my amusement park. Captain Duckman says, in Europe you get it when spending 85 euro. Okay, that's pretty good. So thereabouts. It really depends where you are in the world. And I've seen it on lego.com, the US site, and they're selling it for $12.50. So I'm not sure if you can buy it separately. Too Cool for School asks, how old are you, JC? I'm older than you. Well, guys, you have been great. Thank you once again. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. I appreciate you guys coming on, whether it's live or watching this replay. Remember to hit that like button and remember to subscribe as well. And if you haven't, head over to Annie's channel as well. You do not want to miss Annie Small Brick City. New channel, lots of great content, and she's getting pretty decent subs, I must say, at this time. Well, guys, that has been episode 4 of the Brick Design Breakdown. Thank you once again. And do check out the weekend live stream, Coffee and Bricks, taking place on Saturday. Thanks for watching, and check out more of our videos before you leave.